Manatee County is unique. We have a very high voting percentage normally. We want the people to feel comfortable, that they can trust that their vote's going to be counted, that they can trust that the mail is going to get to us. We're going to process their ballot. We've been processing vote-by-mail ballots now for about 10 days, and we've had the highest return on vote-by-mail that we've ever had in a primary in Florida. We sent out about 110,000. We've gotten back about 50,000, a little bit over that. The turnout is pretty good. We're probably not going to hit 30%, but we'll be real close, and that number is probably pretty typical of what we'll have. But the vote by mail has just been outstanding, and we're going to continue to push it. In fact, there's a lot of that's because of the work that you all have done, and the press has done, and the media. We've really pushed it, and we will continue to push the vote by mail. And one of the goals that we've had here from the very beginning for the last 8 years is trying to increase the voter turnout, at the same time protect the budget for the office. In the 8 years we've been here, for all intents and purposes, we've never raised the budget. However, we've increased the number of voters by close to 15–20%. And we've been able to do that through training, through technology, working with the people, watching every nickel. And, you know, for this race, I mean, we've had literally no lines, okay? And we had to consolidate. We had to consolidate a lot of precincts, and there were some people concerned about the number of precincts. We went from 70 down to 56. And we're probably going to use that same precincts in November, because what we don't want to do is cause confusion with people. When you change the precincts and consolidate them, it's already an issue of confusion. Well, where do I vote? And so we're asking people to really pay attention to the voter registration card, look at the newspaper, listen to the media, look into the educational TV to find out, you know, where is their precinct going to be to vote. We're going to continue to push vote by mail, and we'll extend our early voting days. This time we had 8. We might go up to 10, but the early voting days don't seem to make that much of a difference. In November it will, because of the presidential preference or the presidential race. And you know, I'm lucky because I've got this unbelievably fantastic staff here. You know, when you look at Scott Farrington, who really trained me, I mean, I didn't really know anything about it. Scott did. And what he didn't know, Sharon knew. And what I didn't know about poll worker training, Laura knew. I mean, we really do. We've got this wonderful staff, and they pay attention to detail, and they keep me in line. I can guarantee you they keep me in line. Laura, who runs the poll worker department, she will start recruiting and talking to people literally all year long. She's always recruiting new people, looking for people that we can hire and train. And we do hire them, and we actually pay them. We bring them in. We have quite a long, extensive training program for everybody. And even right after this primary, we're going to start again. And the ones who just went through class, we're going to make them go through class again. We don't really want to have any mistakes. And so it takes a while to build up. Then when you look at the ballots to try to design the ballot, who the candidates are going to be, get them on there, make sure that we've spelled their name correctly, that we've got them in the right sequence and the right races. So there's quite a bit to building a ballot, and even designing the envelope. One of the issues that we had this year, which has not come up in the past, for years in Manatee County and really throughout the state of Florida, the return ballot has had the political party on it. Okay. Well, this year, because of the controversy in the major races and the president's races, people are really objecting to the fact that it's on the outside of the ballot. So for our November, we're going to reprint all those ballots and send it out without having that party designation on there. They've been doing it that way for years. We've looked through the statutes, we've looked through the rules and regulations for the state of Florida, and can't find any reason for it. So we're going to eliminate that problem. When the president first came out and was against vote by mail, I think he was trying to compare all states to Florida, and we're not even close. When you look at what they did in New York, they just mailed out willy-nilly hundreds of thousands of ballots. They didn't know who they were going to. They didn't know who they were coming back from. To get a vote by mail ballot in Florida, you must request it. If you request it, when we send it out, it has a barcode on it. We know exactly who it went to. It cannot go to an address that we don't have. If you want to change it to another address, you have to notify us, and we have to verify it. When those ballots come back, we've got a barcode on it. We know exactly who mailed it back to us, and so we can track it. New York, they just literally did not have the infrastructure to handle it. Florida's been doing it this way now for 15, 16 years and getting better and better and better at it. So we don't have the issues that they have. I mean, we'll process hundreds of thousands, millions of ballots in Florida and really have no headache on them whatsoever. I can't help how they do it in New York or Nevada or Wisconsin, but they literally made a bad decision there. And I think we kind of got thrown into the whole vote by mail process, and it's really a shame because now even the president has come down and said Florida seems to have a good track on this, and so we don't have those issues. It's like people criticize provisional ballot. They should look at provisional ballot and be thankful it's there because it's an insurance policy for their vote that they get to do it. Even those people, for example, who aren't sure that they want to vote by mail, they should still request a vote by mail ballot and look at it as an insurance policy. Where's the next virus going to hit? Where's the next family crisis going to hit? When's the boss going to call you in late? Okay, so they've got that insurance policy, that ballot in their house for 30 days. And they can bring it down and drop it off. Right now, we've had over 1,000 people today drop their ballot off here at the elections office. The canvassing board is made up of the chief judge for the county or their appointee, the chairman of the county commission or their appointee, and myself as a supervisor of elections. Now, I won't be on this canvassing board in November because I'll be on the ballot, and consequently, the judge is going to appoint someone else, and I think this time it's going to be Judge Ferentz again, okay, who's got a lot of experience, who's done it for a long period of time. And so we want to make sure that people know, and we welcome people to come in and watch the whole process and see how we process those. If we're going to make an error, we're going to make an error on the side of the voter. We want everybody to vote. And so we have a pretty low rejection rate. If there's a question on the signature, we immediately notify the voter, say, look, we've got a problem with this. Please fill out this affidavit, contact us as soon as you can, so we can verify that that person is really who signed that ballot.
Well, I'm one of our county judges here for Manatee County, and as that, I am the designated chairman of the canvassing board here for Manatee County. My alternate is Judge Singer, and I come onto the canvassing board by appointment from our chief judge, Kim Bonner, and so I'll be sitting as the chair for both this primary and the general election in November. The canvassing board is made up of 3 people: myself, a member, one of the members of the board of county commissioners, and right now it's Reggie Bellamy, Commissioner Bellamy, and the supervisor of elections, Mike Bennett. And so what we do is somebody has to be here whenever ballots are being counted, and so generally that's Supervisor Bennett. But we've been meeting for about a week and a half now, and so we're going through mail-in ballots where there are issues with the signatures, and just to make sure that signatures match up. If there's any issues with a ballot being torn, if duplicates are made, we double check to make sure that the duplicate actually reflects what was in the torn ballot. There could be other problems with the original ballot. We just make sure that the duplicate that's going to go through the counting machine is accurate. So we're otherwise just making sure that there are checks and balances and that they're working as far as the voting and how voters are voting, and making sure that everything's done accurately. Every member of a canvassing board needs to go through a training process. We went through that conference in October of last year, and we had kind of a refresher course. At least county judges had a refresher course it was about a month and a half ago. And at those conferences, we generally get training on signature comparisons, and so we definitely get training on how all of that works. Our view is that we would prefer to err on the side of the voter and count the vote. And those situations, the very, very few situations where there have been such a big problem with the ballot or the envelope that we all agree that there's a problem there. I mean, generally it's supposed to be a 2 to 1 vote, but we're generally all in agreement that there is an issue that we can't count it as a legal vote. So I'm saying I'm absolutely honored to be part of this whole process, and I have to say, before I was appointed to be a member of this canvassing board, I had no idea the amount of work that went on behind the scenes as far as checks and balances and making sure that things are done correctly. And I can say Supervisor Bennett really runs a tight ship. Generally speaking, it's been an honor. Voting is absolutely one of the most precious things that we citizens of the United States have. And when I am telling jurors who come in to sit on a jury, I always say there are several things that I think are the most important things. One is voting for sure, military service, and sitting as a jury. And how else are you the people, going to be participating in your government if you're not voting for who your representatives are? And so that's how you speak, is that's for who's running your government, and that's through voting. Well, the primary is where you're kind of choosing who you're going to be sending to the general election. Or even in a situation where, so we have 4 people running for county judge, that could be decided tonight if the winning person has 50% plus 1. So I mean, there's a lot to be won and lost, especially locally during these primary elections. And then as far as the general election, you're choosing who you're sending up in the November general election. So it's important all the way around.
My position as a canvassing board member gives me an opportunity to support the supervisor elections. And I think from the canvassing board perspective, I would like to talk about the training first that we had to go through with some obviously some FBI agents teaching us how to look at different writings and detect the difference between things that were actually authentic and non-authentic as far as signatures. So as a member of the canvassing board, we do a lot of verifications. A lot of verifications. The machines kind of lean on the vote count and everything like that as far as whether or not this particular ballot verifies or qualifies to be counted. That's where we are as far as the canvassing board. If there are any questions or things like that, the canvassing board fits with the supervisor election. I think Judge Ingrid is her name. I just call her Your Honor, respectfully. So the role is to make sure 2 out of the 3. Have a vote if there's a question or something that comes up, so we can make sure that we have the correct representation for the community. How I got on the canvassing board was a recommendation from the county commissioners. What an experience. What an experience, the learning that we took place at the training. And then there's a lot of opportunity here where you have individuals to come in and they want to see what goes on behind the scenes and what takes place at the supervisor election office. This is my first time, and I'm excited for the experience that we're going to receive tonight. Well, one thing that I think that has to be put out in front is the support that Manatee County receives from the volunteers at the precincts and the roles that each precinct play in order for everybody to have an opportunity to vote and for those votes to count. From the supervisor of elections office, we have some staff here that are incredible, and a lot of times the staff are often overlooked, and very rarely are they shown an extended appreciation and thanks for the work that they do behind the scenes to make sure the votes are counted and things are going in the right direction. So from our perspective, more from the leadership angle, I think it's important to be thankful to the volunteers and thankful to the staff. Our role is to oversee and to make sure that everyone has an opportunity to vote. And currently, based on the experience that I'm receiving, it's a great experience. And I think everyone should understand of the small details that make a big difference. For right now, our county has not had some of the eye-raising issues that has taken place, and that has a lot to do with the professionalism of our staff and the support of our volunteers from our community. Well, I think the votes count, and I think the expectations should be for the community individuals to not bandwagon, but to actually vet and get valid, accurate information, and so they can make an informed decision. I think it's very, very important. You know, you can easily get swayed one way or the other because of the information that goes out there. But way society is right now, you have the opportunity through the website and Facebook and different social media outlets where you can actually vet and do your own research so you can identify whether or not this candidate fits what you want to vote for. And the vote selection is so important, but it's an individual responsibility. And I think that individual should do their due diligence and make sure they do their research and not necessarily be swayed in a direction because of who you're associated with. I think it's very, very important for that individual to take and respect the history and respect the things that individuals like minorities, like African Americans have gone through, where at times they did not have the ability to vote. Okay, so now you have that ability to vote. Make sure they do their part, and whatever candidate, regardless of what they're running from, to make sure they vet the candidate so they can make an informed decision. Well, I think the concerns with the precincts, in my opinion, should be minimized because the information was out there in a timely fashion, so the necessarily adjustments could have been made today. And then you still have the early vote options and things of that nature right there. So we don't want to continue to have a hysteria, but we do want to make sure that voting is at the forefront today for the next maybe hour or however whatever time it is, so we can make sure that everybody is clear that their vote actually counts. I commend the supervisor of elections for being proactive instead of reactive, because we know that the pandemic's out there and some of the precincts, are small and condensed and may not have had the ability to emphasize on social distancing, things that are concerned right now based on the current status of what we're dealing with in our society. So I commend the proactive move, but now the citizens need to make sure that they're proactive and do their part to go out and vote. Well, I think where we are with society right now, you have a lot of opinions out there, and you have a lot of unfortunate character attacking. Where I am right now, as far as the word politic, that's where you make policies. I think the fine line, is where individuals are, their character is being questioned. All right, and with their character being questioned, I think it's very, very important to do the vetting, all right, and for the individuals in Manatee County to do their research and make sure that you are voting for an individual that has the ability to get done what you feel like your needs need to be done at that particular point in time, or what you feel like your community need, or your race or something in that nature right there. I think the community needs to be very, 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 very serious about this vote. All right, and because where we are right now, we are really treading some very, very, very dangerous waters. And I think the importance is to be informed, and now that you're being informed, make an informed vote.
Well, I've always felt that elections were important. I've been voting since I was 18. It's important because people don't realize, but every vote counts. Whether it's for or against, they count. And this is probably one of the most critical periods of our lifetime. And it's very important that everybody get out and vote. Whether they have common sense or no sense, they should get out and vote. I think the African American community is responding appropriately, but there's still some that are still on the verge of non-belief, as well as other races. So that's why I say common sense is critical for this election. And African Americans, whites, Hispanics, Asians, it's important. And women especially. See, what a lot of people don't realize is that women are really in control, but they won't take control, because we have way more women that vote, that are able to vote than men, but they won't take charge. This is a critical period, and I think that with Kamala Harris on the ticket, it's going to be a major game changer. I tell those that are moving into that stage to get registered early, pre-register, so that when the time comes, it's done. I've been voting since I was 18. and I went off to college. I've been mail-in voting for 50 years. Well, a big part of the 50 years. Every vote counts. That's it. Every vote counts.
My name is Brandon. I'm here with Troop 2019, and we're here to help collect the ballots and bring them into the building today. Well, I heard that they needed help here tonight, so I thought I hadn't been volunteering as much as I'd like to, so I decided I'd come along and join in for the fun tonight.
Our scoutmaster originally had told our troop about it and sent it out via email, and we all signed up because we were missing out on a lot of things since quarantine.
Well, we're very glad to be able to help out our community in gathering the votes. We know that voting is a very important thing for our country to be doing, so we're just happy to be involved in helping it go along smoothly. Well, in order for our society to function smoothly, there's a lot of things that just need help along the way. So any opportunity that we can get to step in and help other people, we should always take that opportunity.
Now, Olivia, you're an Eagle Scout to be, is that correct?
Yes.
And when do you go for your Eagle Scout then?
I'm currently trying to shoot for the 19th of September, which is the day before my 18th birthday.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's really important, and it teaches you a lot of skills in life that you're just not taught within school and sometimes at your house. And I think being involved in the program is just really helpful for younger girls and boys to develop in life and learn important skills. Most of us have come from other programs and everything, and we enjoy this one a lot more just because of the different things that it teaches you in different ways.
Well, scouting focuses on leadership, skill development. There's a lot of really fun activities we do in scouting when we go camping or go do other fun events. So I would just encourage anyone who's interested in the program at all to check it out. It's a lot of fun, and you learn a lot of fun things along the way.
I'd really just look into it and go for it if it's something that even remotely strikes your interest at all. Just there's a lot of girls in it, and there's nothing to be really afraid of. It's just what you like to do, and you should go for it.
Well, I would definitely encourage anyone in our country to vote. Inform yourself on who your candidates are and who aligns with your views most closely, and then go out and share that with the world by voting. As for joining the program and how that encourages you to vote, Scouting is a very patriotic organization. They love our country and encourage everyone to do all their civic duties such as volunteer work and voting.
It's something that the society just needs to function. You need to go out there and be a part of it and really just share what you think about the whole situation, and you need to express your vote with the rest of the world.